Good morning, friends. Grace and I hope you're having a wonderful day. This week we're setting up the flower stand with a tulip bouquet bar. So I want to bring you along as I harvest tulips and arrange the stand for this new bouquet bar idea. So today we're going to be harvesting La Belle Epoque tulips. Aren't those gorgeous? We're also going to harvest all of these Negrita Parrot tulips. Back here, I believe this one is called Queensland. Although I'm gonna have to double check the picture. I thought it was gonna look a little bit different. Anyway, I anticipate all of these being ready for harvest by this evening. This one is Curly Sue. It doesn't look like this one will be ready today. And then we can also pick all of these silver parrots this morning. These open really quickly, so I think we'll pick all of these, all the parrots and all the La Belle Epoques this morning, and then we'll come back for the Queensland this afternoon. We'll probably also put some daffodil bouquets at the stand, and this will be all the daffodils that I have for the remainder of the growing season. It's April 15th today. So I'm just gonna set my camera up, put some music on that my dad is playing, and let's enjoy a day out in the garden together. I brought our buckets over to the shade while I finished harvesting, and now I'm going to take them inside. We ended up with 2 full buckets of Negrita Parrot, 2 buckets of La Belle Epoque, and there's still more of those in the garden if we need them. And then I just picked a few silver parrot because I do want to watch a few of those open inside and see how long it takes. Seeing the La Belle Epoque tulips next to the tulips that I have in the main flower walk makes me think that I should have added La Belle Epoque into the main flower walk. That really would have been beautiful. Well, let's take a close look at these beauties before we take them inside to cool down. I'm going to stick these right next to an air conditioner so they can cool off. We won't be selling these until tomorrow morning. So it's about 8 o'clock now. It's Wednesday. These are the ones that we're going to sell Thursday. What we have out at the flower stand, I picked last night. Oh, they're so beautiful, aren't they? I could just stare at these gorgeous blooms forever. Gracie, you look nice by all those tulips. Hey, Grayscue. Hey, you look pretty by all those tulips. I just love it. What's your favorite tulip, Grace? Do you have a favorite tulip? Undecided. She looks very serious thinking about that question. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. Hey, pretty girl. Yeah. She's thinking, you put a bunch of flowers in my 4 bowls of water. What am I going to do now? Drink from the fountain? What am I going to do now? Drink from the fountain, Mommy? Love you, Grace. Only one more bucket. We've got the tulips in the addition. I'm gonna pump the AC in here and cool these babies down. I've had the tulips sitting in their original buckets of water for about 5 hours. And now what I'm doing is taking off the lower leaves, washing the bottom of the stems and putting them into a new bucket of fresh, clean water. And Grace is very excited because I just turned the camera on again. Okay, friends, it is about 7:15 the next day. I held all of the tulips inside for 20 hours right next to my air conditioning in ice cold water just to toughen up their stems as much as possible before today's heat. So we've got the gorgeous silver parrot tulips, labellopoc tulips, negrita parrot. Up here I have vases and a sign explaining how the bouquet bar works. We have some ready-to-go bouquets in the stand. I also have some grab-and-go bouquets on both ends of the flower stand and some vases and some snips in the front. So let's have some fun and see how this thing goes. Now that we have the stand set up, I'm gonna make an arrangement for the garden library. I might just fill it with daffodils today, or I might choose to use labellopoc or copper image as a focal flower. But let's build out the base first, and then we'll decide if we want to add in another color or not. I'm going to start by adding in some gold splash euonymus. In my vessel, all I have is a floral frog. I'm not using any putty to secure the frog since I'm just making this for myself, and I'll only be transporting it a few feet. I'm gonna add in some snowball viburnum, but I don't want to cover up all of that beautiful gold splash euonymus foliage. So I'm gonna remove a lot of leaves from the snowball viburnum and just leave the blooms. Maybe we'll leave a fourth of the foliage intact. Yeah, that's better. Since this is a woody stem, I'm gonna cut vertically up the stem before inserting it into my frog. And friends, I think you're on a little bit of an angle here, so I'll try to keep tilting it towards you as I build. Let's have this one spilling out of the side of the vase. Now friends, I have never taken a floral design class. I do not consider myself a florist. I just consider myself a home gardener who loves to grow, cut, and arrange flowers from the garden. I'm just going to remove the top of this branch. I'm going to start to add in some hellebores now. And I just like to follow the framework that I've created with my structural foliage. And I also like to work in triangles. You can see we've got a triangle going on here. And now I want to have another triangle right here. What I like to do is hold my branch up to the base and use that as a guide for where to cut. Now let's add in some beautiful white bleeding heart. Once again, I don't love the foliage here, but I do love the flower, so I'm just going to remove the majority of the foliage and leave the flowers. Still following that original framework and working with that triangle there. that's shaping up nicely. I think let's stick with blue and add in some of this Muscari next. I probably keep saying this, but really when it comes to floral design, I am very loose, open-minded, and I just follow my gut, but I do tend to follow two rules. I always build the framework first, and I always keep in mind that I want as many triangles as possible. That's just what's visually pleasing to me. When I look at this right now, I see two eyeballs glaring at me, this cheerfulness and this cheerfulness. But if I add another one down here, then I have this beautiful triangle, and all of a sudden, that looks much more pleasing to my eye and doesn't make me feel like I'm staring at an arrangement that's staring back at me. Building out another triangle this way. Let's go in with Bella Estrella now. You know what, friends? I'm leaning towards just leaving it as a simple, dainty, and delicate daffodil arrangement. I think if we were to add in, let's see. I mean, if we were to add in some La Belle Epoque tulips or copper image, let's cut that down, see how that looks. If we were to add that in, I mean, it would look nice, but I think I'm just wanting something a little more simple and a little more early spring. Uh-oh, the yellow jacket has come to visit us. Well, come to visit the Amsonia, it looks like. She's like, water and flowers? I'm in. Since this arrangement is going to be sitting on the mantelpiece in the garden library, I don't need to worry about filling the back of the arrangement with flowers, but I also don't want to be looking at this in the mirror. So what I'm going to do is just take a really short branch of Snowball Viburnum and put that right in the back of my floral frog. And then when we look in the mirror, we'll see that instead. But really no need to flesh out the back of the arrangement with flowers when we're not really going to see it at all. Now I really like this, but let's do a little experiment. Let's remove just this flower from the very top left-hand corner and see if we like it a little bit better. I'm not sure if we need that height there, but I'm going to remove it and see how it goes. Okay friends, I think I could mess with this a little bit longer. Hopefully I'm not going to get a copyright strike for these old records. I think I could add in a little more Muscari and a little more Amsonia, but overall I'm happy with the shape, I'm happy with the colors, and it's just so nice to be cutting flowers again, isn't it? Oh my goodness, I can't. I just can't with these. Gorgeous. And here's what remains. And here's what remains. And I did manage to pop in some straw flower where we had the Negrita Parrot. It's about 6 o'clock now, and I'm just setting up some shots for golden hour that I'm going to be taking for Longfield Gardens. So let me review what happened with the bouquet bar. I'm so sorry, I was just so busy I could barely take any footage. But essentially what I learned is that my specific customer prefers and is also used to grab and go bouquets. On that first day when I started filming this video, which was Thursday, I sold all but one of the grab and go bouquets, and only one person came and made their own bouquet. Now, because it was so hot that afternoon, I decided not to put those flowers out for a second day, and instead I took those buckets and put them down by the sign with the arrow that says spring flowers this way. So yeah, I don't think I would do that again. But what I did learn is this. As I continue to sell this week, Friday and Saturday, I tried to utilize the 4 really large vases that I had purchased at the thrift store. Now, normally I just use sauce jars, mason jars, and smaller vases from the dollar store, which are now $1.75, by the way. Anyway, nobody wants those big vases. Even though they had a lot more flowers in them and the vase was more valuable, I'm assuming nobody wanted to transport them. And I even had a couple people take the arrangement out of the vase, out of the big vases, and leave the vase there, which is very unusual for my flower stand. People are always welcome to take the vase. So that's something that I learned today, is just to avoid those really large vases altogether. Not worth the investment and not worth the trip over to the thrift store either, when I can just buy the quart mason jars in bulk, and I'm paying about $1.15 for them at the moment. So anyway, friends, even though the bouquet bar portion of the flower stand this week was kind of a bust, the flower stand itself was still successful. I sold all of the Queensland tulips, all the grab and go bouquets that I put out, with the exception of one, which was also in a very large vase, sold. And now it'll be closed on Sunday because we're expecting a big storm. And then on Monday, it's getting down to 28 degrees again. So here's one, hopefully not last look at the tulips, but you just never know, right? You just never know. Well, friends, thank you again for watching this video. I should have probably 2, maybe even 3 videos per week over April and May. So I will be seeing you a lot here at North Lawn, and maybe in some surprise gardens in Pennsylvania and elsewhere sometime soon. Bye, friends. Oh, wait. Gracie heard that. Gracie wants to say bye. Gracie, want to say bye? Yeah. Bye-bye.